What's up, Headbangers? Today we're stepping into the world of Maurice and the Metal, a high voltage coming of age comic series where heavy metal is more than just music. It's identity, rebellion, and freedom to be yourself. Created by Australian writer Aaron Sammut, the series is set against the backdrop of the legendary 1980s San Francisco Bay Area thrash scene. It follows Maurice, a teenager whose passion for heavy metal becomes a journey of self-discovery. But Maurice isn't your ordinary teenager. His Walkman is possessed by the spirit of a Black Sabbath roadie, and whenever he cracks up the metal, he transforms into a powerful hero. The heavier the music, the stronger he becomes. Without the Walkman, he's just an ordinary teenager trying to find his place in the world. As a new gothic movement begins to emerge, one that blurs genres, suppresses emotion, and encourages conformity. Maurice finds himself fighting for something much bigger than music. He's fighting to protect his individuality, self-expression, and the culture that shaped him. Now heading into issue 5, the series has continued to build a passionate following, with its latest campaign already suppressing its funding goal with less than 2 weeks remaining. Joining us today is the creator and writer behind Maurice and the Metal, Aaron Sammut. Aaron, welcome to Headbangers Australia. I kind of fumbled the intro, but mate, welcome to the show, mate.
Oh, thank you. No, you did a great job. That was a great pitch.
Mate, it's a great comic series which we'll have time to have a deep dive, and maybe we'll depends on how we dive into it.
Yeah, sure.
But first of all, I do want to say congratulations on the response of the latest campaign on Kickstarter.
Thank you.
Reaching your funding goal with nearly 13 days remaining from the day that we've recorded this interview, it's a fantastic achievement. How does it feel seeing readers continue to support Maurice in the Metal?
I've been writing it for nearly 12 years now.
Yep.
And I think when somebody comes out and just supports it and then stays with it, it's kind of the reason to keep on going. I've had kids come up to me at Comic Cons with little Lego Maurice figures that they've made. People telling me that they just want to see the next one. They just want to see the next one, and it gets really humbling. And as an indie creator, you want to try and be as quickly work on it as quickly as possible.
Mm.
But yeah, there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah. Tell us about it, man. I basically, just because you was, the short hours, and I have looked at the other past issues
Yeah.
that was handed to us for us to get an understanding of the series. I have realized it has taken a lot of years getting to the comic side of things, because I think the first published was 2017, 2019, something
Yeah.
around like that,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah. I think I came up with the idea like 2013, 2012.
Yeah.
And yeah, just been like a slow grind. But I think if I rushed this, it wouldn't feel as organic as it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't even feel like I'm writing it. I'm just kind of living it, and not laboring over it like some people would labor over like a novel or anything like that. It's basically the book that I want to read, and I hope there's other people out there that want to read it as well.
Now that's cool. So for those discovering Maurice the Metal for the first time, what inspired you to create the series, and where did the original idea come from?
Uh, it came from having a really bad start to the day, and I was going to work.
Yeah.
I was on the bus, and whatever music I was listening to wasn't doing it for me. And then as I hopped off the bus and walked to work, it was Metallica's Master of Puppets that came on, just random.
Yep.
And I turned it up, and I just felt better. I just felt like I could handle the day ahead.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to the front door of the office, it was like, why couldn't that be a superhero? Why couldn't be a superhero charged by heavy metal? That music doing an emotional thing is now doing a physical thing.
Mm.
And yeah, by the end of that first day at work, I had post-it notes all over my desk, and I was writing it like crazy on the bus home. And I passed my stop like 3 or 4 stops, and I just kept on going, kept on writing. And that was the first time that had ever happened to me. And I been a creative person my whole life, and this was just the most organic thing.
Wow, man. Can you confirm or deny at the time of your inspiration, was it a Sony Walkman that you had your music on?
If only, if that was the thing. No, it was just one of those MP3 players at the time. I think it may have been an iPod.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that story, where I wanted to have like some real heart. I can only think of 1985 Bay Area, a Walkman, just to keep it really grounded rather than trying to make it a modern
Mm.
tale. So yeah, that Walkman was uh, it was essential to thinking like, how can I make this Walkman more interesting? And then the spirit of a Black Sabbath roadie just popped in my head, and that was on the first day as well. Everything kind of just coalesced on that one day, and it was really, really inspiring.
Wow, man. And, like everyone has this spark in their life when it comes to creativity. Like I had my journey, when I created Headbangers Australia. It was,
Mm.
and I remember that really well. That the spark, you feel rejuvenated, inspired, when you go through that. And I guess that, based on that inspiration for that series, I guess that when you had all these ideas and all that, and you had
Yeah.
all these post-it notes scanning around in your day job, everyone's like, "Oh, you're working hard, Aaron. That's good to see all these post-it notes." You're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting
Yeah,
it done.
yeah, getting
Yeah.
it done."
Yeah.
And so just getting, basically all the planning, and then obviously as time tells, during the 12 years, you would have developed it and enhanced it,
Yeah.
as well, the journey. But one of the good things that I really enjoy about the series, as a metal fan, like I like seeing the story unfold in the 80s San Francisco Bay Arena. It immediately connected with me because that era produced legendary bands
Yeah.
like Metallica, Exodus, Slayer, Testament, Death Angel, Possess. And in that era,
Yeah.
especially in between 1980 and 1985, they were still kids. There was still, it was still a scene, a local scene, and the San Francisco scene is probably in that era as best known, one of the best scenes, probably in the metal era.
Yeah.
And there's a documentary called "Murder in the Front Row."
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking at the
Uh,
book right now.
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That captures the atmosphere and community of that scene so well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's the book. That's the book,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Because
was part of my research, and like just connecting with some of the people who took photographs in that as well.
okay,
Yeah, just anybody I could reach out to from the scene, and yeah, no, it really was a world that opened up the story as well. Because at the time in the Bay Area, it wasn't just thrash metal; it was like there was a jazz scene,
mm,
there was a punk scene that was coming up, and bands like Rancid and Green Day were coming out of the Gilman Street Project.
yeah,
Like it was a hive. Yeah.
that's cool, man. And was there a goth scene as well?
I don't know about that. I'll have to do some research. Yeah, but just the scene, there was a country music scene. There was everything. Yeah,
That's
so
cool, man.
it's a really good environment to start a story like this.
That's cool because one of the reasons why I thought let's ask if he was inspired by Murder in the Front Row, because I've seen the documentary, I haven't got the book, but you went above and beyond because you basically said that you asked the people that took the photos and stuff like that. So what did you learn in that research, and how did it tie into the concept of the story, of the setting that you originally wanted it to be?
Yeah. Well, it was the stories and the documentary of the same name. Um, reaching out to some of the photographers, and they were just telling me how close knit the community was, and how special one of the venues was. It's called Ruthie's Inn,
Yep.
and it's a feature of the story. Maurice he drives past it. In issue 5, he actually goes on a date with a person who's not into metal yet, and that's kind of where it happens.
Yep.
And yeah, no, it was just flicking through the photos, and just knowing that they did it all DIY,
Yep.
and just came out of nowhere. There were bored kids that probably could have got into worse stuff because they didn't have anything else going, pick up a
Yeah.
guitar. I think there's a life-saving element to heavy metal.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because yeah, and also just because you just mentioned about these locations. These locations are in those issues. I think I remember some of the locations. I think one of them was in issue one, the pilot story.
Yeah.
The rehearsal room. I'm not sure. Is that a real venue? The rehearsal, or is that
Oh, no, no.
fiction?
That I mean, there are rehearsal spaces obviously in the Bay Area, but I didn't model that off anything. I wanted the band to die in the room that night, and so I
Yeah.
call it the hearse. Yeah, it was just a
Yeah.
joke that I just wanted to
Yeah.
to shoehorn in there. Yeah, but the
Yeah.
rehearsal
Yeah.
space is the hearse.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
And yeah, because I did read the book, the comic books, and I just I don't want to give the story away, but the basically, the issue one's basically the intro, then
yeah,
the story continues, and then three he gets the flow of the character, and then four, okay, well now we start to see the pilot develop. We get
yeah,
to see all these characters coming in and all that during anticipation.
yeah,
But there was also moments that I enjoyed, not due because not it wasn't the main pilot, but it was the sub part, all these little things growing up and how we discover metal.
yeah,
And one of my favorite moments in the series is when Maurice's neighbor asked him to make a mixtape.
yeah,
I think that was on issue four, the previous issue. His motto was like, "Don't show me, don't you listen to metal?"
yeah,
All that kind of
yeah.
racket.
She
And
was the Satanic Panic.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. One of the
yeah,
you kind of captured that kind of culture, but so the neighbor asked us, Maurice, look, man, I really want to listen to what you've got in your mixtape. And he's like, yeah, sure, man. I'm happy to help you out whatever you can.
yeah. That hits him in the heart too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, as
For somebody
well.
to ask me what music do I recommend, I go, uh, where do I start? But
Yeah,
like it's a big moment. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and it's what I liked was the drawings and all that, which I'll get to the illustration a bit later. But what I liked was the story when you put in the narrator's voice coming into the comics, and this, it reminded me that everyone has their own story about discovering heavy metal,
yeah,
and often it starts with someone introducing you to a band, and that part of sequence of the comic books of that it just was like, for me, it was just like I really connected to it because everyone has a first story and that captured it really well. What was your own journey into metal, and were there any bands or albums that completely changed the way you looked at music?
uh, the first time was 1989, and I was visiting Sydney. My cousins were metalheads, and I saw them headbanging to Epic by Faith No More, and I didn't know what I was looking at. I was part scared, part intrigued, and I think it took me a while to get um, into like the broader stuff, but that kind of really did open the world up for me. You go and think like it's just Michael Jackson out there. It's just the pop music, and then once that world gets a bit heavier, it just opened up for me. But yeah, so Faith No More's Epic, um, from Out of Nowhere, I think the album's called.
Mm,
Yeah. Um, and then there was like all the punk music that I got into as a teenager. Green Day's Dookie,
yeah,
Metallica's Ride the Puppets, Ride the Puppets, Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning,
yeah,
uh, and then Smashing Pumpkins, and then like, and you've got them on the side there. Slayer, that Seasons in the Abyss is one of my favorite all time metal albums.
yeah,
And then as it came to me, it would just be like if there were some things that I really liked, it would be Opeth's Blackwater Park. I think is one of my all time favorite metal
man,
albums.
it's a great album.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it just kept on going, and you have to really think, what kind of person would I be if I didn't have that influence in my life?
Yeah,
And
man.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you.
Mate, it's because you probably in the same era when I discovered metal. For me it was epic. That was for me. That was one of the heaviest songs I heard in my life.
Mm.
Looking back, Billy Guild is. I'm a bassist. Myself. I can see your bass in the background
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So, Billy Gill is one of the best bassists. He's one of my top five bassists, and without that bass line and without his playing, man, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be as. For me, it would have been no Faith More without Billy Gill, man. That
I
element on the bass there as well, man.
I find him really underrated as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. He
Like,
definitely should be more highly spoken because he actually for bassists, they just everyone don't really. They always focus on the drummer and the guitarist,
mm.
and the bassists is the ones that they're probably the ones of the silent, the real true heroes. If we're going to the comic
Yeah,
book theme, they're the
yeah,
real true heroes.
yeah.
And
Well, I guess when people say bassist, they're thinking they're like Les Claypool and Flea, and then
yeah,
that's about it. But yeah, no, Gould was amazing. His work on like Angel Dust is just incredible.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would say he was the backbone of that band.
Oh yeah, man. If we're talking about bassists in the era, you got Cliff Burton.
Mm,
He's probably the most loved and most talked about bassist.
yeah,
And Billy Gill should be in that conversation. And Ryan Martini. I don't know if you ever got into Mudvayne.
yep, yep,
He for me, he was one of the formidable bassists. In between of Cliff Burton
yeah,
and Billy Gill as well. So
yeah,
and last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, I interviewed Naga from the Covenant. They're coming into Australia,
all right,
and he's a bassist as well. And he was talking about extreme metal and
yeah,
how he made a disco riff, and then the guitarist is like, "Oh, you can't do that." He's like, "Mate, it's metal, it's music, you can do what you want, right?"
yeah, absolutely.
And and I said, mate, being a bassist knowledge, mate, bit of a slap and pop. End of the day, it's got to make the guitars fix. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
mate,
absolutely.
oh, mate, that's mate. One of the best things about basses we also added is like you can add distortion as well, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes it more
Oh, well,
heavier.
I'm just like a practicing. I've just got like instruments around, and
Yeah.
when working on a computer becomes a bit frustrating, you just make some noise for a bit and then get back to it.
Nah, that's a good way of doing it. I should get the bass and start doing it in between some of my jobs, man.
Yeah,
Get back into the grind. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. We're talking about how bass is heavy, and we talk about Maurice. The more heavy it is,
yeah,
the more powerful it becomes. I do remember somewhere in the story, the spirit of Black Roadie Sabbath, because I don't really want to give away the story for the people that haven't heard it, because I
yeah,
was shocked to find out the spirit,
yep,
and it made more sense in the story and
cool,
as we developed. So I thought that's a really cool way not to spoil it.
yep,
So he did say to Maurice, I don't think you're ready for the heavier stuff yet.
yeah,
And then we
yeah,
know, and I feel like when you listen to, and it's the same as me as well, but in your journey of metal, when you listen to that era, because I assume you grew up in the 90s as well,
yep.
same era as me. Did you ever, you discovered Opeth, that was probably extreme. Did you discover more extreme metal that you probably like? Is there any extreme dramas of metal that you dig further?
Um, I think as far as like the black or the death metal, I think Opeth was probably as heavy as it got.
Yeah.
And something recent, that I'll listen to is Deaf Heaven and oh, what's the name? Slaughter to Prevail.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like cross genres, but not really anything um, like where it's just so extreme. Like I can't say I've ever been into Mayhem, but I really haven't given them the time.
Mate, I think you'll like it. It's a very, very immersive kind of drama, black metal. So
Yeah, right.
it's a very immersive kind of drama is there. Then death metal is always it's my go-to personally.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Meshuggah. I got into
yeah,
Meshuggah. Yep.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, there was part of me that wanted to make the story about the heaviest metal possible, But thrash metal's just had that fun element to it where it's not taken so seriously.
Yeah,
um, and it was, yeah, it was just going to be a bit more fun. And I really wanted to get away from the demonization of metal.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and going up against Satanic Panic is just another bit of conflict in the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, fair. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Because, while we talk about music and we talk about how metal, metalhead to a metalhead, headbanger to headbanger,
Hmm.
just but basically, what really kept me invested were the relationships Maurice has with his mother, his
Yep.
sister, and his friends. Watching him grow per every issue gives the story real emotional weight. And as a comic book reader myself, well, it's been a while since I got into comics, but what enticed me about what I loved about comic books wasn't just the drawings, it was the emotional side of the stories. Um,
Can I
I
just say
would-
that is so great to hear, because I've been trying to make a story where it's not just a tights and fights story.
yeah,
It's not just a superhero going up against the villain.
mm,
I want to have real conversations between two characters.
yeah,
This is an absurd story, really.
mm,
And then for Maurice to start talking to the Walkman, I mean, you can't just go fight scene, fight scene, fight scene, fight scene.
yeah,
And I grew up watching John Hughes films where the emotion was kind of over the top, but it was
yeah.
still trying to keep it grounded so it's not just all fighting.
Yeah, yeah, because a real comic for a good comic book is a good story, and we'll probably dive into the comic side of things. For me, a good comic book was X-Men, and when I got into comics, I got into comics in my early 30s. Something to kill the time
Yeah.
when I'm not playing music. I needed a hobby away from music at the
Hmm.
time. So comics was my escape. And at the same time, Marvel was emerging with the cinematic universe, and
Yeah.
The Walking Dead was on TV, and it's one of those. Oh, it used to be a comic book. I'm like, what? A comic book? Huh?
Yeah.
So and then when you look at the comic books of the X-Men, I think with the modern Marvel it was X-Men versus the Avengers.
Yeah.
So much emotion in that storyline.
Yeah.
Such a big story,
Yeah.
and The Walking Dead, very different to the comic and the TV side, but it still had the same element. What made the series so great was the human connection. And I
Yeah.
guess you answered my question, because the question was, well, actually, I don't know, you can expand on it,
Hmm.
but how do you strike the balance between telling a great heavy metal story and creating characters that readers generally want to connect with?
That was a great question. Um, well, I don't know. I don't know if you grew up with siblings.
Yeah,
Well, if you had a sibling where they didn't like the music you liked, and there was like some fighting in going in the house, about it's my song. I'm going to play my song. My Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I just found like that conflict between a brother, Maurice, and his sibling
yeah,
is actually part of the story. It's part of the reason why somebody gets into heavy metal. It's almost like a little bit that if other people don't get it, I actually tend to like it more.
yeah.
And that conflict going on within his own house is part of the story, and it's going to come up more and more. Um, I think the striking the difference between it just being a heavy metal story and a family orientated story is that I would fight over heavy metal, you know,
Yeah.
uh, but I don't know if I'd sacrifice anything for it. I would sacrifice my family, but in this story, the risk, what he's giving up, what he's fighting for, is his family and is the people of the Bay Area. So trying to make it more human
Yeah.
than what just heavy metal would have been by itself. Um, you know, Maurice in this story does learn a few things about his own taste in music and how it's okay for people to like other genres,
Yeah.
even if they do make him weak. Like pop music's his kryptonite. Whenever he
Okay. Yeah.
hears
Yeah.
pop music, he becomes weak and disorientated, quite like Superman would with kryptonite.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he learns that he doesn't have the right to be a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
So it's more about raising. the level of what Maurice stands to lose, and you can only do that with a human story.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a spot on because the series does explore that. When progressive in the issue. I think issue four he did meet this special girl. And he did ask. I think he did ask her out by memory,
Yep.
and he's like, oh, okay. I think that. I think that as the human connection, it's real life as well. Because when people that loved metal became musicians and they listened to other music,
Yeah.
and that inspires them as well. As we talked earlier, we wouldn't have the Billy Gills, we wouldn't have the Ryan Martinis on the basis, if they didn't have so many influence in their life,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and Flea as well,
Yeah.
and I think that when I read your comic book series, I said this is a comic book, the story is there. It's not, oh, it's heavy metal, and
Yeah.
it has the story, and to hear that answer the way you want it to envision it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I cannot. I'm so invested in the series myself now. So
Great.
it's like you asked me earlier. Oh, good way to get back to comic books. So like, look, I don't have the time, but I'll invest in Maurice and the metal.
Yep.
Headbangers Australia fully endorses it.
Great.
We
That's
totally support
fantastic.
it, bro. We totally
Yeah.
support it, man. Yeah, as I said, man, like, and one component of the comic book, it's the artwork. Without
Yep.
the artwork, it doesn't complement the story.
Yep.
Because that's so important in the writing because it creates the emotion, the atmosphere, and the energy on every page to give that energy, and either that's in black and white or color, it's all about the emotions that pulls the weight and holds it all together.
Yep.
For Lauren Marshall, she returns for issue 5 and after illustrating issue 4. And
Yep.
I thought her attention to detail really elevated the series.
Yeah.
Just from her work from issue 4. Just to give her a backdrop, she's an Australian illustrator based in
Hmm.
Perth. Is that
Based
correct?
in Perth. Yeah.
She's worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I think that's one of the independent publishers, RDW.
IDW. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Power Rangers Prime and the fandom. I did a research on her Instagram. I can't confirm, but she did put in the bio Spider-Man 2, Marvel PS5. I'm assuming she may have done some of the
Yeah.
drawings there.
Yeah. She did some of the artwork that ended up being graffiti on the walls in New York City.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. She's a talent.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Because when I did play Spider-Man 2 on
Yeah.
I like swinging away at Spider-Man or Miles and I'm seeing all that wars there. I'm like, oh, that was fucking good detail. That's
Yeah.
who did it. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think they commissioned a few artists to do it, but she definitely contributed to it.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And now she's doing Maurice, which is just crazy.
Because I was
Goes from
basically
Spider-Man to
to,
Maurice.
to, to Maurice.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing about comic illustrators. Like they take any project, man. It's all about the story itself. So
Yeah.
the story is probably what invests the illustrator to complement the writer.
Absolutely.
It's best one of the best stories. My comic book memory probably won't be. It's a Batman series. Not the Frank Miller. I think it was Seth Loeb, but he always
Right.
had an illustrator. I think they've done a couple of issues.
Yeah.
They team up in the DC and and they've done well. And then if you want a backdrop, you got Frank Miller. The Return of the Dark Knight, and the
Yeah.
illustrator complements that.
Yeah.
I guess my question is with your collaboration with Lauren, and how
Yeah.
did the creative partnership develop? And was Lauren already familiar with metal culture, or did you spend time sharing reference and experience to help shape the vision world of Maurice and the metal?
That was work in progress. Always work in progress.
Yeah.
Lauren was not as familiar, obviously, with the thrash metal scene, but she does like heavy music. Um, so the method was the script is actually kind of written in a way that I'm describing what the panel looks like,
Yeah.
but purely giving her creative control to say, the panel will look better like this, or the panel will look better like that. So we we would Zoom call and collaborate on a couple of pages, or if there was a page where something needed to be highlighted, say if it was like the front of Ruthie's Inn, um, some of those drawings where you're using real life places. Yeah, we'd have back and forths on that. So it's just like super collaborative, really talking about why a panel needs to be a certain way.
Mm.
And then her discussions might be why the panel would look better this way. And at one point, I think we're just going to get to we'll just literally be on the same page. And I'd go, this is where the story's going. And she said, yeah, I've already got it in my head. And
Oh yeah.
the longer I think you work with an illustrator as a writer, you learn what words they need to hear in your script. And she's helped me fine tune my process as well, because I would put I'd put hundreds of words into one panel description, and she would tell me I only need like 3 or 4 words. Hey, and I go, all right, I'm learning as a writer to
Yeah.
to pull back on my vision, because I come from a visual photography and publishing background.
Yeah.
So I'm a visual person. I just can't draw.
Mm.
What a shame. But yeah, working with Lauren, super collaborative. Lots of back and forths. We do a thumbnail sketch, the pencils, the inks, and then at one point you're looking at it, you're going, I can't believe I didn't see this before, but it would be really rad if this could happen. And she's collaborative on that as well.
Cool, man. Well, what was her take on your story? Because you did say, I can't believe I got her writing Maurice the Metal, from what she's done. What was her impression of your story? And then what it meant to you to hear her impression of it.
I think she loved the that it's not just all fighting. It's not a story that I think you'd be able to pick up in a comic book store and go, it reminds me of this, and this. It's it is that human driven element where characters can just stand next to each other and talk, and you don't need to be fighting or jumping through the air or I think she likes that side of it. And then obviously when Maurice starts kicking ass, it's fun to draw as well. But yeah, she's got such a great visual storytelling style when it comes to the energy, and then where she knows where to pull back and just focus on 2 characters.
That's pretty cool. But just listening to your collaboration with Lauren, it kind of reminds me of my collaboration with the magazine that we do. I'm pretty much do the editing for the content, and then I've got Cam. She's Camille called. Just to give the content of who she is. She does the visual layouts of the magazine, so we both learn. Okay, how many words do we need to go into the layouts, and what kind of visuals and the color, and then we basically fine tune ourselves each issue that we do, and I see a lot of similarities to what you're doing and what we're doing from a digital magazine format.
I tried to go with the black and white was an aesthetic choice because I wanted the magazine to have a zine feel. Back in the 1986 Bay Area, there was a metal comic. I think they're called. There was something about killing poses. That was the name of the comic. And it just had this zine feel to it, and I think the black and white really adds to that.
I think the black and white in your story, I think that it basically, I look at it like the Walking Dead kind of format. It's like it's there, the stories are there, and some concepts work well in color, some work concept in black and white. So because I didn't want to ask, because I thought maybe there were obvious reasons why you went with the black and white to compare to the color, but probably what you just said with the content, probably you wanted that underground scene feel. I go, that's kind of the metal kind of way of
Sorry,
culture.
am I answering questions before I get them?
Mate, I'm happy for you to jump and interrupt me, because sometimes I get excited when I ask questions and I mumble a lot.
No, well, yeah, there was a whole bunch of different reasons for this choice. Uh, the inspiration was that Metallica song,
Yeah,
and that album's got that red. And if you have a look at the back cover of the comic and you compare it to the back of the record,
yeah.
like I'd done the layout exactly the same. And if I had a comic here, I'd show you. But yeah, that red was just really important. And from my publishing days and designer uh, work, it was just always black, white, and red. Just made the comic stand out, especially at a Comic Con.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, yeah.
mm.
So plenty
No,
of reasons why.
well, there you go, man. Like, I do miss. I do. This is fun for me because I do miss talking about comic books. As I said, anyone that's probably just watching or just stay that long enough, yeah, we're talking about some metal, about comics,
Yeah,
something a bit different for us.
yeah, yeah,
And there's a reason why we're doing it. Because we're becoming like independent publishers. I had
yeah.
to learn the process. ISSN. I was like, what the fuck's that? Oh, okay, cool. That's what it is. Oh, yep, yes, it's your
Yeah,
number.
yeah,
We learned all these little fine prints, and we learned firsthand that independent creative projects demand an enormous amount of time,
yeah,
persistence, and passion behind the scenes. Like the hours that we do on our end, if people, when I tell people, they go, huh? I go, yeah.
yeah,
Just imagine the major ones. They don't have that luxury. They got to go, they have a system. So,
yeah,
and we do it, and we've been, from our end, we do it consistent because it's digital. It's something different. Digital
yeah.
and print's so different. But from your perspective, from your experience, as a publisher and doing this project, what's been some of the biggest challenge in building and sustaining an independent comic series over multiple issues, while some of the realities that readers probably don't see behind the scenes?
Oh, yeah. Running a website.
Yeah,
Yep. Trying to get found on the internet, and
yeah,
it's like a message in a bottle in an ocean of messages in bottles,
yeah,
and just how much constant work goes into satisfying the algorithm. Like you have to work like I have to work more at this during my Kickstarters um, than my actual job sometimes.
yeah,
And yeah, there was a lot that goes into it that just never gets seen.
yeah,
And that's okay. It's behind the work, but yeah, but the issues, like the book is probably like the last piece. It's the thing that people get to see.
mm,
But yeah, like there you've got subscriptions. You've got web stores. You're paying for online advertising. You're making sure that your website's keyword heavy.
yeah,
There is a lot going into it.
yeah,
Um,
man.
yeah, and running a Kickstarter is like an endurance. It's like running a marathon. Um, and I'm very proud to say that the supporters who come back and come back and come back, they're keeping this book afloat.
Yeah,
Um, I don't really want to say how expensive it is to run a book, but you'll know just through printing.
mm,
But yeah, with uh, Lauren's costs, printing, distribution, shipping a book overseas, a comic book that weighs less than 100 grams, and it still cost me $16 to get out of the country. And that's $8 more than the book actually costs.
whoa,
Yeah, so I'm paying for shipping more than the book is costing.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, like the Kickstarter gets me a third of the way, and then the other two-thirds comes out of my pocket.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I am not complaining about that.
yeah,
I could not be happier.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
be happier running this project, even at a loss.
Mate, that's the thing about when we do metal projects, it's
Yeah,
especially in the underground. Like either if you're a comic book writer, a media,
yeah. You're putting on
band,
shows.
promoter,
Yep,
like I have this conversation. I had a conversation like that with a promoter, we were talking about, stuff that we do. And then, coming in as a fan before I started Headbangers,
yeah,
you know, but then realize to get to that kind of standard, from whatever you do to in the scene,
yeah,
there's so much behind the scenes that people don't know. But it's not that we, as you said, we love what we're doing, but the
yeah,
realities of it and the sacrifice that we do to keep to that to have that, to show it to people. That's a lot of sacrifices that are made to get there, and then and to distribute and to I didn't know that the story has reached out overseas and you're sending that out, man. So you're done well building the acronym. I might have to do a lesson off you on ad rooms,
Oh,
SEOs.
yeah. The lesson, if anybody out there actually wants to start a comic book, is just stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stick with it. Go through all of that pain and anguish, and then get these little success stories.
Yeah.
Check out this. This is what came today. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Yeah. What's
It's
that? 3D Maurice.
a 3D Maurice. A fan of the book sent me one, and I printed it today. And just those little success stories that can actually just keep on pushing you, and also just chuck on some metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter how hard life gets, metal will make it better.
Mate, mate, thanks for reminding me, because I did forgot to mention the part where I think you introduced it in, was it 2 or 3, when you do the credits and you're like, if you want to listen, we recommend you listen to Slayer System Alibus, or we recommend you listen to Megadeth, Rust in Peace, and and you put that in. I haven't tried it yet, but you put that in as that soundtrack, to the story, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool, just to see all these little metal reference, just with the credit bits.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was fucking a cool touch there, man. And I just so
Well,
you
I listen to it while I'm working on it, so you should listen to it while you're reading it.
There you go, man. There you go. Next, I'm going to do that once I start reading it this week. I'm going to crack on and I'll let you know how I find that experience. Mate, I was just going to go back to my questions there.
Sorry.
You're all good, man. This is fun. This is fun for me. Without giving too much away, as you look beyond issue 5, where do you see Maurice's journey heading? And are there new themes or challenges you're excited for readers to experience in future issues?
At the moment, like issue 5 is probably, I think when I get to issue 6, I'll be halfway through the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Bay Area is going to change, and Maurice is going to realize that he's fighting for more than just protecting heavy metal. And what I hope that the readers kind of go along for the journey, as well as that it's not just a flash in the pan idea that I just want to see the end on. Like, there is this world, this heavy metal world has just got so many avenues in. If I was to start writing a volume 2, Maurice would be the head of security for Metallica's Monsters of Rock tour. When they play in Russia. And he would meet up with somebody who gets their strength when they listen to orchestral music. Flight of the Valkyries type style. And I have to stop myself from coming up with ideas beyond. Just because I do want to focus on this arc right now. Just know that every time somebody supports the book, it's allowing me to keep on telling the story. And I really hope that at one point somebody will come up to me and say, I just read all 12 issues and I love what you did with this character. Because I know what happens, because I've written the first 11 now. And I've written the bones of it all. And I'm excited about it. Makes it a lot easier to keep on talking about too.
Man, because I was going to ask, are you still trying to find the ending to it, or you already written it, but you kind of you basically told us what's happening. What we want to do now, before I give you the final question, normally when we ask the final question, it's always a reflective answer. But before we do that, we want to thank you, and we want to thank your publicist, Anthony, for reaching us out, because when we saw the content, we're like, that's not music, it's just a comic book. But then when I started to invest in it, we're like, hang on, this is something great. This is something awesome. And for someone to do that, and, for those of you, But yeah, those of you really want to support him, what we're gonna do during the video, just to give you some idea, Aaron. We normally put graphics on our video, so we put like a news headline, all the what's new releases and touring, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
When the video is going to be edited, we're going to be showing your audience the pledge package. So we'll try and get this out before Kickstarter finish. So we've been putting all up, future Dan in comic book in terms, he's going to go to the future. He's going to put all the graphics in. So what we're going to do for about a minute or two, we're going to go through the pledges and just get some clarity. So therefore, we can help you do this, because I personally want to see this to the end, and I would love to see volume 2 and then make that successful. Then after we do volume 2, I know I'm thinking of myself, let's do a spin-off. Let's do Maurice's future generation in the modern scene. It's
like his great grandson finds the Walkman.
Something like that.
Don't worry, I've been there as well.
So we've got the link to the Kickstarter page, and as you guys will have seen in the video, we would have seen the pledge package. So we'll go through the packages, and now for the digital edition, so for each issue of the series, $20 in the PDF format. Now, if you guys want to have it in your hands, which most metalheads do, they love to have things in their hands and physical items. The print editions are $45, and that's plus your postage.
That's for all 5 as well.
For all 5 issues, yep. Issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's each, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, not each.
Oh, the whole thing.
The whole thing is like $50 with postage.
Wow. So you guys, you go, look at that. You get the whole thing. Wow. That's really generous. Listen, the bargain. And then we got the print and digital. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 50 with the PDF. So if you, I know if you want it in your hands in digital, both worlds, you got that for an extra $5. But then you got package 1, which is the pledge in a bit abyss.
Pledges in the abyss.
Yeah. We got I'm excited. See, now I'm mumbling my words now, mate. You got issue 5 prints plus variant cover. So any comic fans know what the variant cover means. Plus the digital edition, plus stickers and shirt. That's $80 in package 1. Then we have package 2, which is the reigning pledge. That is issue 1 and 5 prints, plus a variant cover, plus a digital edition, plus stickers, plus pins, plus shirts for $100. Wow, look at that. It gets better. If you want to go an extra $20, an extra 20, you have a Muscle Pledge. Package 3, that includes issue 1 and 5 prints, plus all issues of variant packs. Wow, we get all the issues variant. Wow, look at this. Digital editions, plus stickers, plus pins, plus shirts. And if you go on the link, you get to see all the shirts I designed. Really cool. A blend of metal and blend of comics. You get the best of both worlds in this kind of merch. And then there's a package 4. Same price as package 3, but it's a custom Lego minifigure. So you can't get any comic book fan and then a Lego. Issue 5 print, plus digital, plus issue 5 variant, plus shirt, plus stickers, plus pins. 120 and yeah, man. So they're the packages that we've been showing throughout this video. And
you're a fantastic salesperson.
Oh, mate, thank you very much, man. I just read what's there. Oh, mate, it's great to have you on, mate. And before we wrap up the interview, finally, our last question for you. Finally, once readers finish issue 5, if you could hope they walk away with just one word, what would that word be?
Community.
There you go. Community. That's all it's all about, mate. And again, thank you, Aaron. And we'll see you guys in the next video.